I had an absolute blast in ZTZ CBT3 and was able to get all the way to account level 50, where you have everything unlocked. But the game is far from perfect, and here are some stuff I'd like to see changed before the main game actually releases. Of course, I've already given this feedback through the survey, but I'd also like to hear what you think about the changes I'm proposing. Alright, let's start with the non-combat stuff, things like quality of life and UI. First and foremost, please make sure that the moment player enter the game, they become aware of the color filter setting. So for those who's not aware, the game has a color filter that makes the game look more gray. The default value of this is 10, and this affects the aesthetic of the game a lot. And depending on the person, some people could even consider it ugly. So having a quick screen during tutorial, just like those horror games brightness tuning before you start, would probably be a good idea, since it will prevent people from thinking this game is ugly from get-go. Talking about the UI, the game currently has some UI elements that are unreachable through controller. This is basically quality of life, so please make sure to do a review on those UIs before the game releases. There's also the issue of not being able to see maxed out stats of W Engine when you're looking at a preview from the Gacha. But I'm assuming this is also something that's just not finished yet, and hopefully they become available once the game actually releases. Since we are talking about the controller, I also would like to have hot swap. I mean, not to be that guy, but Northern Wave has it, Honkai Star Rail has it. If you're worried about, hot swapping mess up combat, at least enable it outside of combat. Now let's go back to the hub. I think the companion events are pretty cute. We learn more about characters' daily routine and what they are like, but after spending 40 days playing the game, it has become very repetitive. This could be because, again, this is not finished, as we only have companion events for the character in the first area, but because how integrated it is into general functionality like the coffee shop, the noodle shop and stuff, they are not something you can avoid. I think it would be great if we could choose to turn off their events when we have reached a high enough bond level to unlock everything. Another issue I have with the hub is related to the time system. Now in this game, there is day and night system with time split into 4 parts. Doing companion events, sleeping on the sofa, or going through commission will progress the day, and if you end up at the last part of the day, every single shop except the weekly material shop will be closed. Sure, you can just go and sleep on your sofa to have all the shop open again, but that's still very annoying to do. It would be a lot nicer if shops that has utility just stays open 24/7. If anything, set up a hologram shopkeeper or something. So that's about it for the hub stuff. Let's look at gear and character next. For W Engine, aka weapon for this game, it feels a little too signature right now. Outside of the general effects, signatures, including those of the A rank agents, all have some effect tied to specific elements. Like, I understand the game want to have signature to be more specific, but I would also say, at least for the first year, when we don't have that many weapons, I would be happy if just the standard weapons and the 4-star weapons were not locked into a specific element. Another part of gear system are the bamboos. They are very cute, but at least for CBT3, the system doesn't feel very complete. Their existence in combat does not feel very significant, and I'd like to see them to be a little bit more relevant in combat. As for how, I don't know. Now let's talk about the actual combat itself. I have some serious issue with the chain attack system, aka the QTE system. Now, the QTE system makes the combat a lot more fun. The payoff it gives for standing enemy feels quite amazing and adds quite a bit more impact on killing mobs. But the issue here is while the days bar is supposed to be recharged after each QTE, the timer is not recharged. The time continued to flow during the QTE, making some slower QTEs a significant damage loss, because they are now competing DPS window with the actual slasher in the team. In fact, sometimes it's completely possible to not even get all the QTEs out before the enemy's days period finishes, if you happen to throw out a slow bamboo and a slow QTE. God, Sokaku's QTE needs some help here. Honestly speaking, this should be easy to fix. Either refound the QTE's duration onto the days bar at the end, not just visually, or pause the enemy's days bar during QTE. Also, the game needs more visual indications for some of the character's mechanic. For example, I have no idea if my Alan's quick charge is active because there are neither UI indication nor any effects on the character. I don't rule out the chance that I missed it, but if I could be missing them on Ellen after playing her all the way to Internet level 50, that still could be an issue by itself. It could be just because I'm a theory crafter and I need the data, but another thing related to clarity is the damage indication. It's almost impossible right now to tell how much damage you're actually doing from the damage numbers. Every single attack is a multi-hit, and without doing frame-based breakdowns, I have no way to tell how much damage I was actually doing. I think right now some form of DPS data display inside the VR testing ground would be very helpful for people who's interested in actual damage output related stuff. And if possible, the incremental damage display from damage over time in League of Legends could be possibly a way to display damage number for each individual multiplier. And I guess lastly, the way skill multiplier are displayed could change a little, since pretty much everything has the damage multiplier and the days multiplier. Might as well just put them into 2 columns. Oh, and I almost forgot. For an action gacha game that has such amazing impactful combat, how can this gacha animation be so terrible? The music is slow, the screen barely moves, I absolutely feel nothing watching this. It doesn't make my heart pump the way that I do with Genshin Impact, with Honkai Star Rail, with Reverse 1999. The music, the animation, there is nothing here that grabs my attention, okay? There is no gamba feeling, and it's way too long. Even if nothing else is changed, this has to be changed. This has to be changed, okay? Now, with everything I've said so far, I have to make this very clear to you, the audience, and to Hoyoverse if they happen to watch this video. I could just be a vocal minority, and the last thing we need is to get a deaf listened 2.0 with this game's launch. So, obviously, do what's the best for the actual target audience, whoever that might be. And that's pretty much everything I have for this video. This has been Steven by Next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.